like a different universe.
Anne had a question too.
Anne? Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, I just had to unmute myself. Yeah, I was just wondering if I was just trying to figure out which of the different offerings that you're doing would be good for me. Like I'm myopic, like 4.5, but I've been doing this stuff on my own or kind of trying to do it for years, but like didn't see any results for a long time at all. And only just recently I think I'm getting results. And I mean, I'm definitely getting results. I just don't know how to quantify it. So I'm just trying to figure out what kind of would be the best way to go. I feel like I had a lot of resistance and I finally was able to get around that. So that's like an issue for me, is like how to,
I
you
would say
know,
join the Supersite Squad because you will get a lot of change that way. And there's, I mean, I make sure that you do, you know, and you'll get the support of other people that have already gotten farther along in their vision as well. And it's the momentum of that is huge. So I'm starting a new cohort group in February. I do them about 3 times a year. And so you're welcome to join that group. Enrollment is now open finally, you know, after several months. But I take only 10 people in a cohort group at a time. And then so I do an onboarding training for that cohort group by itself. And then after 3 weeks of onboarding like that, during which time the vision changes for the people in the sessions, because we work with techniques to see what exactly is going to turn it on with you. I do a lot of personal work with the people in there. And then we bring you into the group as a whole. And in the group sessions themselves, I do individual coaching, as well as there's usually a discussion on a particular topic that comes up that day. But it's so you get in the help that you need to actually make the change. And I will constantly refine the techniques for you as you move along. And there's not a person in the squad now that hasn't had change. There's several stages of vision improvement. I've isolated 7 stages of vision improvement, and there's a different strategy for different stages. If you're doing the right thing at the wrong time, you might not get results. Like some people will start out, put a chart 20 feet away and then stare at it. And it's like, no, that's not really helpful right now. We're trying in dim light. So you start with the first objective is to get the flashes of clarity in the vision. And to be able, and then that's this level. First level is you haven't had any change at all yet. The second level, you're getting flashes of clarity, but you can't necessarily produce them at will. And then the third step, which I call vision on demand, is where you can consciously produce clarity by either practicing a certain technique or shifting the way you're focusing the attention in a certain way to where you can consciously produce clarity in your vision consistently. And then you go to another, and so the strategy is different at that level. You're working in favorable conditions so that you can produce the clarity, and you want to be able to get your skill developed in producing the clarity so you can do it more on demand, you know. And then once that gets there, then you can start branching out into incorporating it a lot into your day so that your baseline rises. And so overall the vision gets at a higher level, not just when you're practicing, and you have longer periods of time of clarity, and the clarity comes up higher. So there's several different stages coming back. And the last stage is where the last stage is perfect sight, but right before that is your vision is clear most of the time, and it goes out under unfavorable conditions. So like say driving at night or something like that. So then you consciously go after the unfavorable conditions and apply the techniques there, but you've already had the skill in bringing the clarity up before you get to that point. So I have these all written out, and I have video and written materials on that, what the strategy is to move there, you know, to the next level. It's
so
pretty
people in the Supersite Squad are at different stages.
in a Supersite
right?
Squad. Yeah.
But they're at different stages. Like not everybody's at the same. That's what I was.
No, they're not. And I like that actually. I think it really helps because the people that are newer, get inspired by the people that are, finishing up their vision, right?
Right.
And then the others there's a lot of helping each other, that goes on in the sessions. Now, how'd that work for you? And people are doing techniques along with other people while they're working. So it's, yeah, I like having a combination. I think it's helpful to have lots of different levels in there at the same time. But there are different strategies at different points, and yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Thanks.
that's what I'd really highly recommend it. I just see so many people that have been working on their own or working, struggling for years with their vision, and they're like, so glad I know what to do now. But I mean, it's worth trying it out, at least. And you can always drop out anytime you want to. I won't hold you there. But I don't have too many dropouts. So, okay.
Okay. Thanks.
To see you there, Dan. Beverly, how are we doing on, there's any questions in the chat or anything?
There are no questions in the chat.
Okay. All right. We're running out of time here. Whoa, how'd that happen? I will stay a little later for people that have other questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Dina had a question,
Matt,
which may be something that we have her contact you about later, but I'm gonna read it anyway.
Yeah, okay.
I'd like to know what she would suggest for someone who has oculomotor dysfunction. She has 20/20 vision, no problem.
I would say do a one-to-one session. Let me work it out there. It's going to be a lot more direct when a situation is unique like that. Just schedule a one-to-one.
okay, can I ask a question? Can you hear me? Or
Yeah.
nobody-
And Jean has a question.
Yeah, I want to plan for myself, and you're recommending various classes. Right now I'm in the Saturday group.
Mm-hmm.
So do
School of Better
you,
Eyesight Inner Circle. That's the best group for you because
okay,
it's for mixed vision problems. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Someone else? I think we did it, right? Okay, we're losing everybody. Don, did you get what you came for?
I probably, if I thought it out, know the answer to this question, but I think that, well, why does it take so long when I do the, shouldn't it all get clear right away?
Well, that's a really good question. And it's the techniques by themselves, there's nothing magical about them. It's that you're using them to change your mindset and how you're focusing your attention. So if you're doing a technique mechanically and the mind isn't really making any shift from it, it won't help. Or it might help a little because it's still going to relax you to some degree, but it's not really going to make a real change. So that if you use the techniques as a tool to learn how to focus the attention without strain, and so what do you, for example, focusing on the motion can sidetrack you from trying to see the detail, because that's where people get straining, is trying to make the detail come out. But that's why if you put your attention on color or motion, you can bypass that tendency of the mind to make an effort. If I'm looking at you and I see the periphery and I'm noticing what the peripheral vision looks like, there's not the same habit of straining to see the periphery. So you can focus your attention and take away the strain by noticing what the peripheral vision is doing instead of trying to see the detail. So those are tools to help shift the mind to get it out of. So you're bringing your attention to where you're looking and without the strain. So if you bring your attention to where you're looking and remove the strain, you can see perfectly. But how do you do that? And those are tools that you can consciously say, well, I'm just going to notice how things are moving, and then well, like we did earlier with Whitney, with that little exercise where suddenly she really, when she got that feeling of being in the back of the head, and really could get that feeling of motion, then things started to clear up in flashes, little tiny flashes of clarity coming in. I have seen it work that way where people can just literally like make that shift, but most people don't change their mind that easily. I mean, we get into a mental habits of especially an unconscious habit like seeing. And so It takes repetition. First of all, if you're repeating something that's not working, there's no point in it. So doing a lot of practice of something that's not working won't help you. But if you find something that's working and then you duplicate that over and over, then you can make progress, a lot of progress. Because every time you show your mind, when I look this way, things are clearer. When I look that way, they're not. Then you're demonstrating to your mind what makes things clear. Then there's less of a tendency to go back into that old habit of straining, because
Sort of an unconscious habit too.
unconscious habit, that's the problem. So you have to make it consciously do
Yeah.
something different to change the unconscious habit. And then
Mhm.
habit is a repeated action, right? So you have to make the, so once the first step is to free up the strain, so you get the motion going. The second step is to find what types of techniques are going to make that change for you. And that's what, in a private lesson, that's what I do in that session, or in the, I could say the onboarding in the supervised squad, that's what we do there too, where we narrow down what types of things are going to actually make the things change. And you can see, because things open up when you do them, and then you say, okay, now let's go down that pathway and develop that skill in bringing the clarity in. And then every time you make that clarity come in, it's changing the pattern. It's kind of like if you're trying to change your diet, and you, every time you eat it, people like, you eat a good meal, a healthy meal, it's helping them. They might binge on other things, and then sometimes people go, oh, well, I already blow that, so I'm just going to eat junk from now on because I got off my diet, and that won't help you. But if you can say, well, I got off of it, but even if you do once a week, eat a healthy meal, it will help you. It's better than eating never a healthy meal, right?
Yes, yes.
So, but there's a certain critical mass that you need in order to make that shift to where it becomes the habit. So you have, this is your default habit is to strain, and you've got to get enough experience in the other approach to where
Gotta get over the hump.
get over that hump, and then it becomes easy, from that point, once you're over that hump, to where it's like, it's easier to see more clearly than it is to not see clearly. So you still might fall back once in a while, but it's you got the idea.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Really good question.
Thank you for the nice question and answer session. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome, everyone. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Contact me if you need more help. Okay. I want to make sure you get the results. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.